it's hard to break free of that to really go for what you desire because you haven't seen anything else yet. And that's where we get to come in and we get to really support them. We get to hold them through it.
This is like a form of protest. This is a form of underground that we're cultivating this community. This is something that a lot of people don't want to exist in the world.
And now you'll remember every time you drink water, every time you're in water, what it's like to be with queens and goddesses. You got that?
Yes.
They release. They let go of whatever they were holding on to.
They laugh, they cry, they scream, they vomit, they shiver.
Welcome to today's episode of Universal Intimacy. I am so ecstatic to have not one, but two amazing guests with me to talk about the field of Domme-ing. I have two professional dominatrixes, and I'm just so excited to just jump right in. So we're going to go for it. And I would love to introduce on the podcast my friends, my sisters, my comrades in this really expansive field of eros and tantra and play and sex, HoneyBee and Queen Velvet Amethyst. Yay!
Hi, so happy to be here today.
Yeah.
It's a delight. We've been looking forward to this. It was in our calendar and we're like, okay, how lucky are we? We're going to be on a podcast with our friends and we all get to just hang out and talk about the things that we do. And now we get to do it and just share about our journey in, for me, it started out very young, being bossy and telling people what to do, and just this, for me, it was more of a fantasy world that I lived in.
Yeah.
And I still live in, but I get to bring people into that fantasy world. And so it was this desire to be like, okay, you're going to do that because you're really good at that. You're going to do that because you're really good at that. And I'm going to just sit here and I'm going to coordinate and I'm going to tell you what to do. And then finally, it was because I didn't really grow up with internet. So for me, I couldn't just research and look up these different things, or like, why am I feeling this way? It was always like you're too bossy, or I don't want to play with you because you're telling me what to do. And then I found the people that loved me telling them what to do. And the people that really were like, oh yeah, I need this.
Yeah.
And it was the kink spaces I started to enter into. It was those Domme-ing spaces. It was the tantric BDSM spaces that I felt welcomed in, that I was like, oh, there's a name for this that I didn't know about. And I'm a Dom. I'm not just a brat and a bossy person. I'm a Dom. Okay, cool. So I got to play with that. And it's interesting because I get to expand and massage that out, which is why, for me, I'm a queen.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
I, on the other hand, I grew up with the internet. So I was very explorative, research-oriented. Anytime I was curious, I wanted to figure it out by a book or a Google search. That was wildly helpful for me. I was able to really learn a lot, maybe at a younger age, but also be able to dive into experiences with partners throughout middle school and high school. And then as soon as I turned 18, I really fully jumped into the space. I got a job as a dancer. I went to a kink space and just fully headfirst dove in, knowing the terms, knowing and having read so much and being so excited to expand and exist as I was old enough. And now I'm 25 and it's my everything in my whole life.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Thank you. I want to slow us down a little. I feel like we've already thrown around a lot of terms that I know all three of us are very familiar with. Let's sort of like decontextualize what we even mean by Domme-ing, right? I think this word is being used right now a lot in relational dynamics, even on the internet, social media, of like, oh, I'm a Dom, or dating apps. People will archetypally classify themselves as being a Dom. And I think there's obviously something inherent in that word of like being domineering, and like you're likening it, Queen Amethyst, to being sort of like bossy, authoritative, wanting to be in control. But there's there's other layers to that, right? Which we all know. And I guess, yeah, like just for your baseline listener who either has zero context of kink, fetish, BDSM culture, or they think domming is, choking somebody out or pulling their hair. What is your definition of what it means to dom someone and what it means to be a dominatrix?
I was about to say, do you want that one first? Should I take that?
I can step in with this one first. So I remember there was one time where I wanted to have someone to kind of hold me accountable with my business and someone to kind of just keep me in check because I'm doing all this stuff really well. But this stuff I know I'm not doing so well, but I want to do it. And so I kind of use that as a way to explain domming. It's like some people, they just want to turn off and be told what to do. Some people, they just want to be taken care of. I was choosing to be in a position where I'm like, okay, I don't want to do this. Someone else will do it and tell me what to do. And for me, when I'm domming, when I'm in a position of having the power, it's a mutual understanding of power. It's someone just really telling me like, this is my fantasy. I just want you to tell me what to do, or this is my fantasy and it's hard for me to do it because I'm feeling shame, I'm feeling fear of what society, what culture has told me to do, but I really want you to give me that extra push to make me do it. But they're consenting to it. I'm pretty much just like a director. I have this idea, I'm putting it all together, I'm writing the story, and you know how it's going to end. You know the hero's journey. Everyone knows the hero's journey. We all know what we're going to go watch, but you don't know the little like moments that it's going to pop out. And that's where I get to like really shine. It's that like play, like the psychological play. It's a play of like, all right, do you know when you're going to be spanked? Do you know when you're going to have to like go and make me cookies? Or maybe you're going to make me like a foot rub, or I'm going to feed you these muffins. But what's inside the muffins?
Oh my God. For those that are only listening by audio, you're not seeing like the look in your eye. There's there's like this look in the eye too of being empowered. I love that you talked about power, right? Because it is about the power dynamics and understanding that piece of their people on this planet that really, maybe they have a lot of power control at their work, they're stressed out, they're managing large teams, and they just want to learn how to surrender and receive or be told exactly what to do. And there's like peace that can happen within their body of just being like, I don't have to think about anything. I don't have to be in charge. I don't have to curate the experience. So they're handing that off to you, like you said, as the director of the scene to curate that experience for them. And they can just like unplug, right?
Yeah.
You come from a realm of Tantra. You think of the art of giving and receiving. Dom and sub dynamics have both of those roles of giving and receiving. And it goes back and forth from Dom to sub. And domming can take so many forms, from domineering and pushing towards a level of growth that someone wants to see in their life. But it can also be for their own pleasure, just domming because that's what they want. And to claim as a dom, this is what I want. I'm doing this for my pleasure, and claiming what it is you desire. But it can also be pushing towards personal self-development or the thing that they want to see or do, and taking that vulnerability and that trust and dropping in and curating an experience, giving the push, or telling them what it is you want.
Yeah. I love that you presence both of those with such acceptance and non-judgmental love, right? Someone can be that pleasure seeker and someone can be desiring up-leveling, transformational healing. And as practitioners, we get to hold both of those, right? Without judgment. It's like we're not saying like, oh, because you just want to come and have an orgasm, there's something shameful about that. You mentioned, shame. Yeah. How does that show up in your clients?
There's so many facets of shame, from shame to, I think a very common one right now is people are so out of their body. They're so out of their body. They're disconnected, whether it's them feeling like their body is no longer theirs and it's someone else's, whether it's them feeling that they're not enough in their body. That's one way. Another shame is just from family, like afraid that their family is going to find out, afraid that their family is not going to kind of kick them out, because there's a huge thing in culture about loyalty. And so when you cross that line of loyalty, you're loyal to your family, you're loyal to your religion, you're loyal to what culture says. And once you cross that, you've shamed or dishonored that family. And so a lot of people don't want to do that because they don't want to be exiled. Community is so important. Friends are so important. Family is so important. It's hard to break free of that, to really go for what you desire, because you haven't seen anything else yet. You haven't had anybody support you in that. And that's where we get to come in and we get to really support them. We get to hold them through it.
I see such a range of people. From even this week, I had someone come in who was telling me how it'd been so long since they played last, that they hadn't been in their body, and they didn't know when they were last silly, and they just wanted to be silly and play. And it was beautiful to watch them become embodied and fall into their body. That was juicy.
Yeah.
That was powerful. To seeing people who they are in partnerships or marriages and they love their partner, they don't want to leave, but there's also this part of them that there's deep shame or not acceptance around, and they want to explore that part of themselves without losing all that's around them. And for a lot of people, if they were to bring that out about themselves, they would lose that community and lose that support system. And it's not just a shame or fear that they're holding, it is a radical, honest truth, and that's heartbreaking.
Yeah, that fear of rejection, abandonment, right? I love that you presence community, and I know that's something that you, HoneyBee, are really exquisite in cultivating, and I know you as well, Queen Amethyst, and traveling around the world and living in Mexico. Tell us, about that piece, because I think that is the fear, right? The fear of being judged, shamed, exiled, like, oh, I'm a businessman and I can't sit in the boardroom, and if people knew what I was doing, they would like not buy my product, or they would not want to work with me. Or like you said, the couples that are in a beautiful partnership and they're just holding on to this kink of wanting to be in a cage and be spanked, but they can't do that with their beloved, so they have to outsource it or fantasize it or shame themselves. So how do you create the community and the culture so that they do feel accepted?
Creating a space where people feel safe is delicate.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of trust all around. How I curate community in Temple here in Chicago is that everything's vetted, and that we're pretty organic in our growth. So it's a lot of, we met you in this sort of way, or you're friends with someone in this sort of community, or you're wanting that touching stone, and doing vetting calls, dropping in, creating authentic friendships, and honoring people's individual needs for privacy due to their work, due to their lives, due to family, and everything in between. And knowing that this is like a form of protest. This is a form of underground that we're doing and cultivating this community. This is something that a lot of people don't want to exist in the world. And it is so important to create these safe spaces and to hold space for people to radically and authentically be vulnerable and express themselves, and surround each other with each other and have one another to talk. Because when our voices are heard, we become stronger and more powerful than when we're alone and isolated into ourselves.
Yes.
Yes,
I'm like
yes,
jumping
yes.
up. I'm like, ah! Like rub my titties. Because I mean, there's so much with mental health right now, and just isolation and loneliness and shame. And it's like, oh, if these people only knew that like they could find community and feel valued and valuable and loved and lovable, right? So thank you, HoneyBee, so much.
Thank you.
Also a member of Temple, and you curate really beautiful experiences and containers that, like you said, feel completely safe and also expansive, right? And that's harder than one might think, right? To be simultaneously safely held and also challenged and able to move and flow and express yourself in ways. So thank you for that. Yeah.
I'm like, it's so funny because I'm so used to expressing and talking with my hands. I'm like,
we can move, yeah.
But I was thinking, like in my head, I'm like, if I go like this, then you can't see my face. That was just in my mind. So
people might not be looking at your face right now.
Oh,
just
yeah.
so you know.
Okay, so I'm just like, I'm just gonna come like here.
Your
and
titties look amazing right now. Can I say that?
Yeah, I was running to the car and they were like bouncing, and then like I saw like this lady, and then I saw another guy, and I'm like, yeah, they're probably like, what is this chick doing? And I'm like, here I am.
It's the best way to be, though. I loved like going out in public and people were like, you all look so cool.
Yeah, it's
Be
fun.
the interesting person on the street.
Yeah, it's fun to like spark interest and inspire.
And you own it. Like both of you really own it, you know? And that's half of it, right? Is like just claim it, own it. Mm-hmm. It's part of that embodiment and empowerment journey as women. And I mean, I know you were about to mention a point, but if you want to sort of go into that journey, because I think so many women may be curious as well and listening and also scared of where to start and how to begin their own journey of embodiment and empowerment. And again, it looks different for everyone, but as women, you know, we do face a lot of criticism and scrutiny. And I'm just curious with both of you, like how that's shown up for you and how you've navigated that.
It's a never-ending journey, first of all.
Yeah.
The limit does not exist with power. Power continues to grow exponentially. And so if we remember that abundance, that power that we have, we can keep compounding on that. And so what that means is I want women, men, everyone to understand that once you start to really understand your own agency, and so what agency is knowing yourself, knowing what you need, what you want, what you desire, knowing how to act on that, then you start to kind of, by experiencing that, by starting to absorb that and act on it, you learn how to negotiate. You learn how to first negotiate with yourself, how to negotiate what you're allowing in your life that's stopping you from actually receiving what you desire. What in your life that you have been subconsciously accepting, and now you get to contractually renegotiate, is that something I want to allow in my life? So the power, the empowerment starts from within. And then from there, then you get to start bringing people into that.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it's friends, sometimes it's your job, sometimes it's newer people. And then this cycle starts all over again where you learn new things and you're like, okay, I'm at this level now. And now I'm going to raise the next level and I'm going to see, again, I'm expanding that container that I once had where I'm able to understand and how it's not about being in control of it. It's more about understanding how you interact with it. And that's a completely different thing than trying to control it. Because when you try to control your whole life, it's not going to work out. Everything's going to like push back and repel. But when you just understand like, okay, if I go this way or if I do this, go left or right, this is going to happen. Or if I offer someone a cookie, they have two options to say yes or no. Or we can have someone like Queen Velvet Amethyst who's going to take it and stomp on it in front of me. But I've only experienced that because now I've had that experience. And so we just keep collecting this data.
I love how all of your examples involve cookies and baked goods.
I have a few.
No.
Like I have a big food.
No, but yeah, okay. That was
Queen loves
exquisite.
food.
Right? I know. Yeah, that was exquisite. I want to kind of go back to if you can just share with the audience an example in your own personal life, right? Like clearly you've done a lot of self-development work and understanding your own container and where your edges are and how you can expand. And like as, again, a woman, and we were kind of using the example of just like being embodied or dressing this way, whatever. You don't have to use that example, but like how, or give us any example of like how that showed up for you and how you kind of applied that methodology to kind of bust through and get to the next level.
Yeah. So it started with me feeling in this way that like the friends around me were great. We had so much fun. I would go and take over places and I'd be like, yo, this place I'm throwing a party at now. Was it my space? No, it wasn't my space. But I knew if I talked to them, I made friends with them, I can then invite over my other friends and we make it a party. And I was doing that for a while where I'm creating these things and these events and these spaces and like everyone's going with it. And I just look around and be like, yeah, this is fun. But then I was like, okay, what else can I do? I want to feel more into that authentic expression of like curating, creating. Like, this is great and all, but like, what do I have to show for it? And so for me, it was like reclaiming that power of realizing I was living someone else's dream. At the time I was interning at this like big corporate place for like a music group, and they offered me a job. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to sit in LA traffic for 3.5, 4 hours one way each and every day. That's not me. I'd rather go traveling and like explore myself and see who I am, because there's things that I want to experience that are different than this. And I don't want to be stuck in the monotony of it. So I left a life that was so secure and so ready for me, and a family and friends and everything, to really experience what was aching and burning in my heart. And I lost a lot of friends, and I like lost a lot of family, and it was this experience of like, okay, I can go back where it's safe, and I can go back to where I really want to be and lie to myself about it, or I can be alone for just a little bit and learn more about myself and feel empowered in my choices, and then be able to then attract those other people that are surrounding me. And that kept happening, where I kept attracting and building this life. And people, it's so funny, because when you're not there yet and like you're just like playing around and feeling it out, people will tell you like, maybe you should move back to the States. Maybe it's not for you. Maybe you're not supposed to live in Spain or Mexico or wherever I was living at the time. Now I'm in Mexico, but every time they'd be like, you should come home. And I'm like, this is my home. Like, this is where I want to be. And so it's like, that's such a different power dynamic of like, okay, you go to where it's comfortable, where it's safe, what everyone's telling, where they're going to support you. But no, I had to really learn, I can support myself. I can do this. Like, I don't need someone's approval to tell me that I can make a business, I can build everything for myself and travel the world and live in a different country and be a female and be afraid. Like, because then people are like, you should be afraid to walk at night. I'm like, people should be afraid of me. Like, I do not care.
I went to BJJ with her, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Ooh, they should.
Ooh, yes, goddess.
So I'm just kind of like, people are going to tell you so many different things, and they're going to come up every single day with new ideas of why you shouldn't do what you want to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest act of rebellion, is going for what you want and feeling empowered in that, because that fires you up of like, oh wait, I'm choosing this. I'm choosing to do this every single day, every little part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's juicy.
That is. Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, goddess, for being on that path and empowering others, right?
When
How about for
live
you,
your-
HoneyBee? Yeah.
When you live your full embodied self, it inspires so many others to take that next little step for themselves and be just a little bit more themselves and a little bit more themselves. And I love to see that. Ask me the question again.
Yeah, just your own personal journey, you know, as a femme-bodied individual, and being confronted with whether it's choices like, okay, I want to stay and be a people pleaser in this situation. Just to give a concrete example of like how you've had to shift your own mindset and empower yourself and make bold moves.
When I was in university, it was the pandemic. I was going to move to a little nudist town in Spain.
Okay.
The border to Europe shut down like a week and a half before I was set to go. So my partner and I got a school bus, a little kinky school bus, and we're traveling the US as I finished uni. And during that time, I was kind of tasked with like, I'm finishing university undergrad early. I've been doing like high school early and undergrad early so that I fast track for a PhD master's program. Is that really what I want to do? I was really doing all of these steps more so for this kind of prescribed path of what is right and doing something within the normal scope of things. And it wasn't truly what I wanted. And I was already doing what I loved. I was already a professional platonic touch and cuddle therapist. I was already a dom. I was already in these practices and in this work, and it was so much more fulfilling.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of given permission to like do what made me happy, and I took it. I was kind of given permission by at least one person in my support network, and I took it, and I will not look back, and I am so happy, even though there are times and moments like, are you going to go back to school, or kind of judgment when asked, what do you do for work? And you talk a little bit around it when you talk to your family.
Yeah.
They know about cuddling, but not always do they need
tell
to
us
know
about
about
cuddling. Yeah, like professional platonic cuddling.
I mean,
tell us more.
People are so lonely and wanting touch, and it doesn't need to be, it can be sensual without being sexual in nature. Just to hug someone, to listen to them. Most therapists, talk therapists, can't like touch their clients, can't engage with their clients physically. And so just holding someone and talking to them, just celebrating their life, sharing little moments, giving space to just brush someone's hair and sing to them, or watch a movie and lay together can be so healing. It releases oxytocin, it releases serotonin, it releases all these good, healthy chemicals that are so important and healing. And I love what I do for work, and that it is my whole life, and that I took the step to not go the kind of prescribed path that I should be going. And I'm so happy for it. I don't know where I would be.
Yeah. Oh, and you're so good at it too. I like that cuddling aspect too. I feel like most people wouldn't think of that as part of your craft. And again, I know there's a full expansive repertoire of what you offer, but that's such a great point of just how hungry humans are for touch and connection. And people automatically may project upon both of you as beautiful, embodied, erotic women, that when you're working with clients, you're involving genitals or you're doing something that brings people to orgasm. And the truth is some of it is just space holding.
Yeah, some people always think domming is like corporal style, that it's all yelling and like whips cracking, and there's such a wide range, and so many people take it so differently. But that's what I personally love, is having a very wide range of how gentle to how not gentle things can look. And that cuddling aspect, that space holding, I always include that regardless of how we take things, to always have a really nice holding aftercare. I find that super important to really close and connect with someone.
Yeah, you're mentioning more I'm like, ooh, aftercare. Let's talk about aftercare. But actually, like, let's talk about the container. Like, how do you set the container? How do you create, like, what are sort of the standard rules to domming in terms of like creating a container?
You kind of make it what you want. So like, I know we both have like very different intakes, but still also like very similar. And so many similar things, but I think I'm just more of like I have like ways of being. So like for me, like, and we're very similar in the aspect of our approaches are very holistic. Yeah. We're coming from a well-rounded aspect of like domination, where it's like, I don't even know if you could just call it domination, because we're not just like, turn the other cheek, we don't see you ever again. Like, I'm having like post-integration calls with my clients. Like, I'm building relationships with them. I want them to feel cared about and taken care of, because that's what builds trust, for us to actually move the needle and find more juicy edges and play with more and see what's under there. So I'm giving them like a questionnaire to fill out. I'm giving them like, and they probably have so many questionnaires for me, because my website is like a little game. So it's like a choose your own adventure, then to get to a questionnaire of like, okay, what do you want to experience?
Yeah.
And so they go through that, and then they will go through another questionnaire that just helps me to onboard them of like, where's their emotions at? Where are they mentally at? Where do they want to be pushed intellectually? Do they not want to be pushed intellectually and they just want something more physical? Where are they at physically? And then that way I'm able to like really curate the scene. I bring in like what I'm really good at and like scenes, and I'll kind of like plant in my intake like what I'm available for, what I have capacity for, what I can do. And then I leave it open at the end to be like, okay, what do you really desire? What do you really need? And then going from there, then it's a call and talking to them, because maybe I'm not the right person for them. Maybe I don't want to take it on. Maybe they realize like, actually, I don't have this connection to you, and that's okay. I know for me personally, like, I have high standards. My rates are what I deserve. And so maybe some people can't afford me, and that's okay. That's where I can be like, okay, I have someone else for you. It's going to be a different experience, but we all curate a different experience.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's very different with my onboarding. And then after, in the scene, I'm usually there for like 3 to 4 hours, playing with them, building it up, bringing it down, breaking things, and not like breaking things physically, but breaking things mentally.
Yeah.
And then really giving that juicy experience, and then softly coming down, touching, caressing. I love to bring in poetry. I love to bring in words. I love to like I'll do, things will just come out of me, and I'll just start talking and being able to share with them like how like they get to serve me and what they're serving. And it's not just serving me, it's serving the queendom. And each person has a special place, and you have a special place, and you're honoring that right now by being here and committing to it and doing whatever it is you're doing, whether it's sometimes it's weird things, sometimes it's funny things, and sometimes it's like, oh, normal Dom things that you would think. And then bringing them down, letting them have alone time, letting them go and shower, letting them go and just like, maybe they want like to just decompress by themselves. We can have a little chat. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't want to. But then we're having a post-integration call like 4 or 5 days later, just because things come up.
Yes.
Yeah.
So much is alive in me. Do you want to go? And then
You can go right ahead. Yeah, dive in.
Well, yeah, there's some, I'm like, like I'm ready to do it. I'm like, I want to play the game, which we'll get there, but I want to play the game. Yeah, I think what you speak into that is really important for not just our field, but anyone who's listening and curious and watching and like, oh my God, I think I want this, is to understand like how holistic it is in nature. Because again, I think the projection that gets placed upon us is like, this is about fantasy fulfillment of like a fetish, like, oh, I have a foot fetish. Can you work with me, queen? Or like, oh, I have the, and it's like, there's so much more that's happening in your intake. So thank you so much for sharing that, related to understanding the psychology of this human, their relationship to their body, their emotions. And I feel, I'll speak a little and then I'm gonna turn to you, HoneyBee, because like, I'm often feeling these days as though, because I also have a really robust vetting procedure, that I'm scaring clients away, right? And I have to always remind myself exactly what you presenced, which is I'm not the tantrika for everyone, and that it's my level of discernment of understanding who's actually ready to receive my medicine. And it's okay if they get scared away. It's okay if they choose to work with another practitioner. And I'm with you in that I'm also able to help collectively decide if they're able to truly claim their desires. And that's the key. Very, very often they're not. They're still in their subconscious spiraling. But if they actually are able to claim their desires and I'm not the right fit, then I will be the first to recommend that they work with another practitioner that I feel may be a better fit. And I think that's also something that we're part of the rebellion, as we do have a sacred sisterhood, and that there are more of us around that we're finding where like we're not here to compete with each other, and we're not here to be like, oh, this is my client and you can't have him, you know, like there is what I'm finding now, that openness to deciding and discerning, if it's not for me, then maybe you could work with my friend HoneyBee.
Yeah.
And I find that so beautiful, because that isn't always the case. Not everyone has that sort of sisterhood or has that sort of community of other people. Like spending the last, week with Queen here has been amazing. I've grown and learned myself. And we were looking over each other's intakes today and I felt so inspired. And honestly, not every Dom and practitioner does intake that way and is as thorough or is as thoughtful. Sometimes it is as simple as a foot fetish session. And I think a lot of people also get excited and juicy about these sorts of things and get what can be called sub-frenzy, where they won't be careful and they'll jump to the first person who will take them. And then they unfortunately will get hurt because that first daddy, master, sir guy is not a nice guy and will not take good care of you and will hurt you. Or that first corporal dom you see at the professional dominatrix house that has lots of doms isn't actually going to look over your consent form, is going to try to upcharge you and violate your consent and push up charges. Not all places and spaces are as safe as what we're describing, and I think it's important to also presence that, because while we're amongst some amazing practitioners, healers, doms here, it's not all that out there. And there's a lot of people who will claim to be a master, who will claim to know what they're doing, who will claim to be a dom and not be a safe person and not hold to consent and take care and take accountability.
Thank you so much for speaking into that. Are there any like red flags for someone that is researching? Anything that you could say, like what they should look for or look out for?
I want to say something to that. Yeah. I think the biggest thing, because I've seen this firsthand, people will drop into roles so quick, and I'm like, excuse me, you haven't earned my command yet. Like, that people want to start immediately out the door giving up their power. And I'm like, no, like that's a red flag.
Or the inverse.
Oh,
like
the inverse.
Immediately, like even on dating apps, it's like,
yeah,
you'll see a dom try to immediately just take control and text like, do XYZ for me now, drop to your knees.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't earn that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're identifying from both the practitioner and the potential client.
Or both the dom and the sub.
Both the dom and the sub dropping into the role too quickly.
Too quickly before like vetting. Like even if you're, okay, so for listeners, there's lifestyle, which is something you do and you're not paid for. And it's something that you're actually enjoying and you're exploring, and that's part of your life. Then there's pro-dom. So if you're going to a practitioner or someone, when you're in these experiences, both of them, it doesn't matter if you're just in a pro situation, but lifestyle too, people will just immediately start to drop into it. And you want to be very mindful that like you still need to vet for both. You still need to go on that like little coffee date. You still need to like check and see like, okay, how are they going to respect me? How can I trust them? Not just because of what they say, but how they show up, how they honor you. A lot of the times it's just really checking in with like, what are their morals? Like, what are their values when you're hanging out with them? How are they respecting your energy? How are you able to read their body? Those are really great tools that you need to have that first initial conversation, input, talk, meeting, where it's not about you playing a role yet.
Yes. And I would assume also you're looking for the conversation around boundaries, consent, agreements, safe word, right? There's certain, if you're dropping into the role without even discussing boundaries or consent, that's very unsafe. Right.
Without saying
what
like,
else, HoneyBee, would you say is?
Yeah, I would say if you're not having that sort of conversation, that's a flag, but it also comes from a level of experience. Pro-doms, you should definitely be getting that. But with like a lifestyle dom who might be just a partner, they might claim to know more than they do. So it's important in part of consent, informed consent. How knowledgeable are they actually? Is this just something that they, for their lifestyle, were interested doing in a romantic dynamic or in a relationship? And do they actually not know what they're doing? How can you both have these sorts of conversations, even if they're a little uncomfortable or awkward, so that you learn and create safe space together?
Yeah. And not to call anyone out who is in the lifestyle on let's say like FetLife or something and calling themselves a dom, if some of what they're hearing sounds like new, like if they're like, wait, what, like, what would you say to these individuals who feel because of their previous relationship dynamics and or sexual experiences that they like to be in control or they like to be more subordinate and surrender? like what are the ways that you could educate them about new ways to approach that field and not go straight into the role or straight into texting. I heard you mention HoneyBee, like if somebody's texting you right away, like
Get on your knees.
I literally was gonna go vulgar, like show me what's in your toilet, or I don't know. I don't know what the. Yeah. I clearly am not on these.
I'm going to use that next time. Show me what's in your toilet.
I am clearly not a dom. Like I don't know. I am. I like to say I'm a daytime dom and a nighttime sub.
Ooh, you can daytime baddie.
Daytime baddie.
You can say you're dominant. Like that can be a way you lean, even though it's something you maybe had just like with a girlfriend in the past. Like, oh, I know I'm like a little bit more dominant, or oh, I know I lean a little bit more submissive. That can be kind of part of your personality that you can lean into, or lean out of and into playing roles and playing around with it. And in getting better, education. You can list, there's so much research and information out there. At the same time, there's so much that it can be problematic. You can get like bad information too, going in like crazy Facebook forums and Reddit forums. You can kind of get some information that has me scratching my head.
Right. Yeah. And if maybe we can put something in the show notes, if you can think of any reputable resources to direct people to, because that's sort of what I think I'm broaching here in this topic is.
I have a kink program I run.
Tell us about your kink program.
So I run it where it's taking people and building their kinky archetype. So it's not just about, because kink and DS dynamics, they're not interchangeable. You can be...
Okay, pause, explain. Again, you're using terms.
Yeah.
Kink and DS.
So DS would be dom, sub, dominant, submission. And kink is with fetishes. So kink, you don't have to be a dominant or a submissive to play with kinks, to play with like medical play, to play with like ropes, to do like other things. Why am I... Food play, impact play, which impact play is like floggers, paddles, your hand. Then we have pervertibles. Pervert are the things that you make into a pervert, into the things that you like.
One of my favorite games is to go to the Dollar Tree and pick out an item that I could turn into a kink toy.
A pervertible.
Okay, wait. Let's like have a pervertible workshop. Oh my goddesses! Like putting a hole in the wall. Like that's what I think of when I think of a peephole.
Fun. No, so a pervertible is like where you turn like the spatula in your kitchen into an implement. Yeah.
I have a very long shoehorn that I got from the dollar store, like one that you can take off a shoe while standing. That thing is a great implement. From my school bus, I have a tire rod. It's a big metal stick that you hit tires. A great pervertible.
Yeah.
Did we bring any pervertibles with us today?
And I can look in my purse.
I mean, like, I'm starting to get like ready to be like, I think we need to like do a demo or something.
Practice?
If you're feeling, we're using a lot of words, and I'm just feeling like maybe there's a visual representation of some of this.
Yeah.
That we could show the audience.
Should we start off with boundaries and consent?
Yeah.
Okay. So what?
Okay. So I'm the client.
Yeah. So I usually ask, I would like at least one boundary. If you don't have one boundary, then I need you to go step away and find something. It can be as easy as time. Your boundary could be time. Like
today, I would say my boundary is keeping my clothes on.
Okay. Keeping your clothes on.
Yes. You can move the top, but for the sake of censorship and this podcast, if we can keep my clothing on.
Clothing on. I'm going to pry a little bit deeper.
Yes, please.
Is there anything that, like, what if I was to call you something? So something, because we can have such little triggering words. For example, I can say, good girl. I could say, good toy. I can say, good slut. And so which ones of those three really got you excited? And which ones kind of didn't do anything for you? And which ones actually triggered you?
Yeah. So to answer the question, I'm open to all words and terminology. Nothing's triggering.
Okay.
And I like good girl.
Okay.
However, I think I'm aware that I'm used to that.
Yeah.
So there was something about good slut.
Yeah.
You saw me, right?
Like a little bit of degradation then.
It was like there was like the juxtaposition of like,
Do you also like being called a naughty slut?
yeah,
I was going to go into the bad parts. Yeah. Cum bucket.
yes, please.
Fuck toy?
Yes.
Okay. And so that's where like sometimes people will be like, oh no, I don't want to be called a bad toy, but I'll be called a bad boy, or
Sure.
I want to be a bad girl. And also playing with like gender. So like all of this is very like how the response that was elicited within you was a taboo response of like, I get called good girl, but I don't get called good slut. And it's very taboo.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have any other things
What are
to ask
your
about boundaries?
feelings or thoughts on pain? Are you open to like a little bit of sensation play that edges on like light pain? Obviously,
Yeah, I
we're
would
not
say
gonna go
right
super
now
intense.
I'm like, for the context of today's episode, I'm about a 5. I'm feeling kind of tender, my presence. So we're gonna keep it at like a 5.5.
Okay.
Is it okay if your hair's played with and grabbed? I won't like
yeah,
take it
yeah.
out or anything. but-
Earrings out
I
here.
have an idea.
Okay. They're telling a secret right now, which I think is really hot, and they're going to be double domming
Yes,
me.
I love that.
Yeah?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
While you guys are talking, I started fantasizing, and so now we've shared the fantasy together, and we've collectively decided our positions and roles of what we're going to play out. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring in water because you're going to be a good slut. You're a bad slut right now, but you're going to be a good slut, and we need to hydrate you.
Oh.
So we're thinking about playing with your hair, playing with your body, and we're going to force feed you water. How does that sound to you? We're not going to waterboard you, just so you know.
Yeah, you're not gonna be choked.
We're not going to waterboard you. We're
Yeah,
just going to do this.
I love being wet.
Okay.
I want to honor space, so we'll check in with Luke
Okay.
on what level of moisture he's comfortable with in this space.
Oh, it's like, it's not, the water's not going to be everywhere.
Got it. Okay.
It's just going to be just in your mouth, but we're going to just make
Okay,
it
that's
really
where I thought you were going with like the
Hydrating.
containment. No, yeah, with the water. Like, how wet are we gonna get?
Yeah. I mean, other places we can get wetter, but
Yeah,
for
okay.
now,
Maybe later, well,
that's going to happen at dinner.
And dessert.
So maybe we have you start standing up out of your seat.
Oh, look at this pretty goddess.
Such a goddess.
But you know what? You've been such a naughty little slut. Get down on your knees. Now, open your mouth. Let me see that slutty little mouth. Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna take each earring out slowly. These must feel heavy on your ears. Massaging each lobe.
Oh, she's such a big baddie in her daytime, but now it's time to let us play with you in our hands, and you're in our little playground in our control. But you need to relax a little bit. I want to make sure you stay hydrated, because being hydrated in a scene is the most important thing.
Now open your mouth.
Take it. Open your mouth. Pull her head back. Pull her. Yeah, there we go. Pull her hair. There we go.
That's a good little slut.
That is a good little side. I wonder what else she can take in her mouth. Come on. Come and hydrate some more. Give me your mouth. Give me your mouth. What a
Good little slut.
Take more, drink more.
You were thirsty, weren't you?
Oh, her shirt got so wet. Ooh,
look at this.
Look at this. What do we have? This little slut has a little tattoo of a snake.
Serpent.
Oh, I wonder what else is beneath this clothes. I just want to rip it off with my mouth. Would you like that? Oh, yeah. Pull her hair. Pull her, hold her back, hold her down. Since I don't have my ropes. Oh, yeah. There we go. Oh, rub that water in. Oh, yes.
Let it all soak in.
And now you'll remember every time you drink water, every time you're in water, what it's like to be with queens and goddesses. That every molecule holds these beautiful words that makes you come alive. You got that?
Yes, queen.
You are powerful. You are wise, and you are so loved.
Yay! Thank you, both. That was so beautiful. Oh my god, I got wet, you guys. I totally got wet.
How was it for you?
I felt very safe. I felt definitely like pushed a little bit. Like I didn't know what to expect. And not that I was nervous, obviously, because I know the two of you, but I felt like I didn't know what was coming next. And that level of anticipation also creates arousal, right? And then I felt like I didn't want it to end. It was too short.
A little like, what do they call those treats? Or like the amuse bush?
Yeah, it was an amuse bouche.
There we go.
Which actually translates to like dance in the mouth.
Yeah, we were dancing in your mouth.
You were totally dancing in my mouth. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Wow. That was so fun. That was just a little taste, a little amuse bouche, but like, what's like a typical Tuesday? Like what are like, what are some things that you guys have curated and experienced?
Okay, so have you ever seen the movie The Big Lebowski?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, everybody's seen Big Lebowski. Come on,
For those
dude.
who haven't seen The Big Lebowski, there's this overarching line said several times, "Where's the money, Lebowski?" as they're beating up the main character, the dude, and searching for money throughout his house and torturing him. So
that's just like one scene in the bathtub.
They do it a couple times.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. Okay.
I'm like, I need to go watch this.
You do? You haven't seen it?
No.
We'll watch it tonight.
Yeah.
And so for a friend, they hid money around their place, and each room of the house had cash. And so as I tortured them, I'd say, "Where's the money? Where's the money?" And I'd let them go once they would tell me where the money was or would go get it for me themselves. And that's when I would that was their breaking. That was kind of their safe word was, I've pushed them so far. I was beating them with Twizzlers. I ended up leaving little marks on them from Twizzler beatings, tying them up, electrocuting them, and all sorts of other fun things.
And this client was specifically deriving pleasure or wanted more of that transformational journey? What would you say that there was?
They wanted to be pushed to their limit. Yeah. So that's what we did, was push them all the way to their edge, to their limit, to their breaking point 5 different times.
Wow.
In 5 uniquely different ways, whether it was through stretching their body. You can't see my little hand gesture. I'm thinking about something opening hole. And to electrocution, to whipping clothespins off of their testicles, to waterboarding.
Wow. I think I just got waterboarded. No, I didn't.
Why?
Not okay. All right. What about you? Queen.
I'm I have 2, but that I'm wow, well, our Tuesdays are always so jam packed, like every day of the week. My scene was more of we're on a date, and here I am going to give you this drink and drink it. And then all of a sudden they are drinking their drink and they fall asleep, they pass out, and I tie them down to the table. And they don't really pass out. This is just how we negotiated it.
Sure.
They pass out because I want them on the table and I want them spread and I want to shibari them to the table. And then they wake up with all their clothes off and they're in a hood. They're naked for me. And I begin to make them, because they're at the beauty and pain parlor now. And so now I'm going to make all their desires and wishes come true at this beauty and pain parlor. And I begin to staple them to make a beautiful corset. So I make these like really cute seams in the back of them, like a little like tie up.
What are you stapling?
I'm stapling their thighs, their legs,
wow,
the
their
back of
actual
them.
skin.
Their actual skin. And then what I'm doing is through them, I'm weaving this beautiful purple ribbon. And it was so precious and so like I wanted them to wear it forever. Like that was very inspiring because now I just want to create that as an art for other people. So I had them wear that the whole session then. And then we moved on to other little parts where it was like labia shibari.
What? What is labia shibari?
So
I'm like, my labia hurt. Here, no, just kidding. Well, first maybe explain what shibari is for the listeners, because you're two of my first like shibari masters on the podcast. So explain shibari and then labia shibari.
So shibari is a Japanese rope art. Hojo jutsu, kenbaku, all different names for shibari. Shibari is more of the artistic form, and I personally feel that I do more of an artistic form when I'm tying. Then there's because back in the Edo period, it was used during military service and to show different rankings, to tie people up, to take them and torture them. And like different knots represented either different rankings that they were in or different like areas, communities, spaces. So you can easily see and be like, okay, that's who they are. So it was this very intricate design of ropes. Naturally, it would be jute. Nowadays, you can use hemp. You can use nylon. I like to play with jute, and then for going in a little bit deeper, so there's suspension. So I suspend people, and so there's these things where you build a harness, and then you have these rope lines, which are called up lines. That I would more use posh because it's stronger, and I can use that over and over and over.
And posh is a type of rope.
Yeah.
And suspending, it can be thought of like when you are hanging like mid-air in rope.
You're flying. We're making you fly like you've always wanted to fly. But shibari can be either on the floor without suspension. And some people, when they think of suspension, they think of hook suspension. It's not that. It's just with rope.
Yes.
And it can be to a bamboo. It can be to a hook. It can be to a bed. So I'm tying them with rope, purple rope.
Great. And so the genitals.
The genitals. So now this is something where I've been kind of going a little bit
Female
more.
genitals.
It was funny when I asked them, I was like, hey, can I sew your lips shut? And they were like, yeah, that's fine. And they were kind of like, how is she going to do that? And then they come back to me a couple of days later and they're like, oh my God, I'm dying laughing. I thought you meant my mouth lips. And then I realized you meant my labia lips. And I was like, yeah. And so I had discussed with them prior to this scene of like how I was going to do it, what I was going to do. It was kind of what we both wanted and what we wanted to play out because we've known each other for a bit. We wanted more of like a little like Dr. Frankenstein / CNC kind of situation to play out where we're both like having this fun and then all of a sudden, boom, like I am now taking over control and I get to play with them. And so what I did was kind of like put different little ways to close their labia shut. And then at this time, because we're working up to sewing them shut, so what I did is can I say it?
Yeah.
Was it going to make everyone afraid? Okay. I put needles. So I put needles, and I've been practicing needle play with them. So they're used to it. I know what they can handle. I know what they can take. I built them up to this place now where it's a new spot. And they get new sensations and new endorphins running through them, getting so erotic, screaming with pleasure. Like they were in so much pleasure and ecstasis. So I would put like weaving together the needles to hold, and then bringing the string on the ends to kind of hold it together. And it felt very much like I was applying my skill set from shibari to now, how are we going to keep these needles in and these labia lips closed? It was such an interesting experience because it was like, I didn't know prior to that I was going to use the little like the red to keep it closed.
The thread,
Yeah.
I'm even looking at your outfit and
I like
neck,
this.
yeah, and
It was
it's
like that.
There is something very artistic and beautiful, and then also maybe share with us about what that person is experiencing in the journey, you know. And I have shared on this podcast some of my own somatic experiencing journeys from shibari in the sense of like that surrender. And it's, for me, it's almost akin to being on psilocybin, where I can emote, cry sometimes. It's also a state of, just understanding my own pain tolerance, but being able to like soften and trust and release and just seeing what comes through and what unfolds. So I would love to hear from both of you, your experiences on both sides of being tied and rigging or what, you know, and what is it about? Like, why are people wanting to experience these types of journeys?
Big hug energy.
I love that.
It feels like a big hug. For most people, when it's on the floor, it's a big hug. I know for me, when I'm up in the air and when I'm tying people in the air, it's more of a meditation. Like when I'm tying and I step away and I look and I'm like, oh, what shape can I move them into now and how am I going to move them? I'll walk into a room and I'm like, I could suspend from that. I could suspend from that. I'm like, and my mind's like churning and what I can do because it's so beautiful. And I love it's a nonverbal communication that happens a lot with like how they're feeling. You're becoming so in tune and enthralled. Like the world closes out.
Yeah.
Like everything shuts down, turns off. And it's just me and them and I'm tying them. And it's like, okay, how far can we push it? Like there was one time where I finally got to sit on a guy while I tied him and then made him like my little ship. And I sat on him and spun myself. And that was like really fun.
Wow.
Because it was like, then it got more involved. But you have to be in a really meditative place to do that and breathing. Like, I think what happens is like on the ropes, they're like breathing through it, but it's once those ropes fall off, that's when the true surrender, like it's like, they release, they let go of whatever they were holding on to.
They laugh, they cry, they scream, they vomit, they shiver, any of it. And there can be that piece of it. It really makes you be present, but it also can bring you that struggle that you have to like breathe through the experience that sometimes is very challenging and really forces you to be in your body and in the moment, taking each bit by bit.
I think it's also really fun because when I've seen you get tied and when I've heard about the tying and when I tied you, it's cool because like you're so in it and you've done it for so long that now you like to play with it. So you'll like kind of like start moving around and then that gives like this added depth where I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? Or you start to like move your body and you create your own shapes where like you're now pushing against the ropes or feeling into them of like, how can I express myself?
I love to play and monkey, and I have a background with aerials and silks. So there can be a lot of like play with body and dance and rope.
Yeah.
I really love it.
Oh.
Which people always think like rope shibari is all about surrender or pain, but it's actually a lot about just like what you make it.
And just like kink and anything else in life.
Yeah, it's like what you want to bring to the table. Like one day, like I'm going to be like wanting to just be so motherly and nourishing and caring, but a little bit like hard. And then some days I'm just like, no, I'm just really feeling the shapes and how beautiful your body is, and I want to express that. And let me turn you this way because, wow, that is a nice ass. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's so artistic. I love hearing from both of you, and I'm feeling within you like not just the artistry, but there's also a performance element of it. And I would love to hear like what it means to perform and be a performer, and what's the intersectionality of that with this work that, as we've been talking, is deeply psychological and somatic and embodied and transformational and healing. And then there's like this artistry and this performance. And yeah, maybe we can like close too with our collective merging within the Kadesha collective as well, and how we're really here to embody all elements of what I've just mentioned and share that with humanity and the planet. And yeah, just
as a performer, you take that little taste of exhibitionism and take something that's so fun and juicy and raw, authentic, vulnerable, and have fun with it. You make with it what you will, and what is that performance and that self-expression, and let others witness it, whatever that looks like. And for me, it can be beautiful, fun play to really deep, cutting, vulnerable experiences, and to share that artistry and to share what happens often behind closed doors on a stage.
yeah, share more about the piece of being witnessed and the role that plays and the journey that you're having, and just the power of that. I think that's such an interesting dynamic that doesn't get discussed enough.
That exhibitionism, allowing others to witness, I can definitely feed on the energy of the audience, on others witnessing, on the transformation that others experience having witnessed my performances, on the playfulness and the reactions of a crowd, or on someone telling me afterwards how that changed their life or helped them want to be more expressive or try something in their own world.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Performing is such a... When you get into performing, because you can perform for yourself, where you're living out a story and you want to let someone inside your brain, which happens a lot for me, is like I want people to like experience what's going inside here and welcome them into it, where they don't have to play in it per se, but they get to like watch. And so that's really nice, because then it's like, okay, I know you don't want to actually try it, but I know you want to watch it, and I know you want to experience it. I know you want to just make for yourself of like, I like this, I don't like this. And I've had so many people walk out on, because it's a little, I push edges.
Sure.
But being in that stage of like writing that story of like what I've experienced and how I want to, because I'm connecting to other people. I'm connecting to them whether they are accepting that connection, but I'm offering a hand with like the performance, the art. So they can see a new perspective, a new way of being.
Oh, I love this. This like juices me up to feel into the ways that the artistry is allowing somebody to like connect with your authentic expression. And then it's either inspiring them or being the permission slip, or as we said earlier, helping them on their own journey of embodiment and empowerment. And yeah, or even as like this expression of, I'm going to call it universal intimacy, because that's what my podcast is about. And I would love to hear from both of you, like what that phrase means to you, because I think there's an aspect of universal intimacy that's rooted in interconnectivity of the all. And like I'm speaking of the all a lot of times in terms of our connection with self, our connection with other humans, our connection with the planet, and and our connection with the cosmos and the galaxy and fungi and all the things, right? But there's also this like there's edges and there's fringes and there's phrase and like these little pockets of existence that I feel that most humans are either too terrified to explore or express or reveal within themselves. And both of you have just like boldly claimed those spaces and places and have shared them with others, that it's like, it's so yummy to feel into just, thank you for making this planet a more colorful, vibrant, playful, loving place to be. Yeah. Tell me what.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Touching on that. I mean, back to your question about universal intimacy, it's kind of cool to think about how we connect. I remember thinking before I started traveling and studying about how other people connect in intimacy. How certain people you don't look in the eyes, certain people you shake their hand, certain people won't shake your hand, and like how that first moment of engagement is so important. And then when I break that down to like universal intimacy, like the universal part, I think of like universal healthcare. And intimacy is a part of healthcare. Like it should be. Like so often do we forget that when we're not checking in on our intimacy of ourself, like that self-love, that self-care, that self-pleasure, and then we are then trying to pour into other people's cups, and you're like, why is this not working? Why is this not working? Because you're not taking care of yourself. So it's everyone deserves to have intimacy.
Yeah.
Everyone should be able to experience and witness and because part of witnessing is you're like, wow, that I could have that, or I don't want that. But by you being exposed to it, you now have that choice. And so having this universal intimacy that is part of our universal healthcare, we're all going to be able to discern like what it means to live in our body, what it means to have that true pleasure, that true connection, not what was given to us. And so, yeah, it's really cool that we're able to provide that little exposure, that little microdose, so you get to decide and where you want to go with it.
Yeah, I loved what you were sharing and kind of reverbing like that we're talking about universal intimacy, and a lot of what we're pulling in is tantra elements as well, like that act of giving and receiving, to be able to both give and receive intimacy, and to be able to find in every little bit of everything you do that connection with that and yourself and the sacredness and beauty of that experience. And to take down to, I find a flogging or a spanking can be a beautiful ritual and a very sacred experience. A Dom session can be a wildly sacred experience, but even brushing your teeth, even those simple meals that you make for yourself, taking the time to connect with yourself and with whatever you're doing, take a breath, be present, and find that little bit of intimacy. And allow yourself to do the little thing that scares you just a little bit. Find that fringe for you, that thing you've been holding off on, and enjoy it. Take that bite of life.
Meow,
Meow, meow, meow.
meow. I love you both so much. And yeah, just honoring the Kadesha Temple, that you're part of the Kadesha Collective, and pulled in creatives and phenomenal artists such as Queen Amethyst. She has another name, and I'm like, you hear me, you see me on the cusp of about to form it. And
I love watching you try to say my name. It's a mouthful.
My mouthful.
It's
you love
I'm a
watching
mouthful.
Wait, how have both of you seen me?
me.
Raise your hand if you've seen me with my mouthful.
We both raised our hands.
Yeah. We've played in some spaces. Yeah, but just it's been such an honor to be a part of the experiences we've been a part of together, and just to continue to grow and evolve. And I would love for both of you to share, for individuals that are inspired and interested and want to learn more and work with you, where can folks find you and reach out? And if you want to share any offerings or news or events that you're curating or producing.
Yeah, so I'm based in Chicago. You can find me at my website at www.thegoddessbee.com. My social media is at Lil, L-I-L, HoneyBee Buzz. And I am the co-founder of Temple. We are a femme, sex, and kink positive community. And feel free to reach out to me and express interest. I'm happy to connect.
Beautiful.
And I am on Instagram, X, socials as Queen Velvet Amethyst. So it's Queen Velvet Amethyst, all one word. And then on my website, you can find me, yesqueen at dominatrixtulum.com. So I do live in Tulum for the last 5 years. I'm based there from September till May. And then I get to go and travel in the summers, and I get to see clients and friends, and which is why I'm able to be here. It's so beautiful. So yeah, find me either in Mexico or bouncing around the world.
So happy you bounced over here. We get to hang out and do this. Thank you so much for having us on.
Yeah.
It's been a treat.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, thank you both. I'm ready to eat cookies and more.
You ready to be fed?
I'm ready to be fed.
You ready to be nourished by some more queen and goddess time?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for making me a switch today, too. Oh, so fun. I love you both.
I'm so proud of you of doing it in front of everybody and live. Yes.